Hi everyone. So I am still reading. Okay, first of all, everybody, hello, hello, hello. We're still reading. I'm still reading the book of Samuel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the whole Bible. Um, so I've been learning a lot from the book of David about enemies, how God just struck them down. Like he was just like going at it with his enemies. Like he would not let anything happen to David. And, sometimes people don't want to realize, when you say, what I've noticed is there's a number one reason why Satan was taken out of heaven. And that reason was because Satan, for you guys who don't know the story, Satan was an angel. He was in heaven, and God kicked him out because he was jealous of God, the angel. So he was like, no, 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 you cannot stay here, buddy. So he kicked him out, and most of, like, I believe 1/3 of the angels followed him to heaven. I mean, to earth. He threw them down. So those angels that were up in heaven are the demons, Satan's demons. So that's a little bit of background of how Satan evolved, I guess, the devil or whatever. And yeah, so that's why we have all these demons roaming around, and Satan's job is to kill and destroy. He is not your friend. Um, don't think at any time, but he is disguised as an angel of light. He has the same power as God, like God has power, but there is a downfall. Satan's power just fulfills you temporarily. So the drinking, the women, the money, material stuff, um, distractions, they feel good for that moment, but it's just a temporary feel. It doesn't fully, you're not fully content. So you have to have more of this. You have to have more of the partying, like in my case before. You have to have more of the drinking. You have to have more of the attention from people. You gotta always be feeding up of somebody. You can't stay home and just relax. You always gotta go out and be doing something. Like, I know a lot of people, I don't know if you notice that, when you don't have God in your life, you constantly gotta be busy with something. You constantly have to be listening to the radio. You cannot drive in your car without the radio. That's because you have no peace in your life. Okay? If you can't sit still and just enjoy quietness and enjoy being alone and not always around people, then you do not have the Holy Spirit in you. You do not have a relationship with God, because God provides that for you. He fulfills that void that you've carried, that you don't understand, that even though you're married and you have a wonderful home and you have these beautiful kids, but you still feel like you're not satisfied. That's because you don't have a relationship with God. um, and again, it's not religion. Don't confuse a relationship with God with religion. It has nothing to do with that. God hates religion, okay, people? I'm going to say that with authority, that God said, I hate religion. Don't compare me to religion. That's not me. I am a being. I am somebody. So when somebody asks me, oh, what religion are you? I say, I'm not into religion. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I talk to him on a daily basis, and I believe in Jesus. Like, that's plain and simple. And people say, oh, well, what church do you go to the Saint of Baptist so and so, or to the great whatever. Like, there's so many names for these churches. God doesn't care for that. Okay? God does not care for any of that. So I'm going to make that clear. So, anyways, So back to the story of David. So pretty much what I've been reading and what God revealed to me in this story is that, David was very obedient, very obedient. He would do whatever God would tell him to do. He would, if God said do this, David would do it. He wouldn't even question him. Well, he would question him sometimes if he had to go fight a war and be like, okay, should I go fight these people? And then God will say yes, and I will deliver them to you into your hands. In other words, you're gonna win. So, God was very obedient. He gave a revelation through this guy named Nathan in the Bible to David, saying, you know what, you don't have to worry about anything anymore. I'm going to give you rest from your enemies. I'm going to make your offspring succeed more than you. He was just pretty much gonna bless David to the core because of his obedience. And how that applies to us if we listen to God. And like I said, I'm not going to say you're not going to go through a rough time, because God's walk is a very narrow path. Like it says it in the Bible. And what I mean by narrow path is it's a very hard walk, guys. I'm not going to say that it's easy. And the only reason I'm saying it's hard is because of the attacks that you will receive from people. Okay? But again, the territory comes with a price. At the end of the day, people hate Christians. They don't like Christians. When someone says, oh, she's Christian or he's Christian, they all go, like, get away from me. But as soon as you say, oh, he's Buddha or he's Muslim or he's Jehovah's Witness, no one seems to care because there's no conviction in those type of teachings. There's no conviction. So they just like, oh, you're Buddhist? Oh, okay. You're Christian? Oh, my. Whoa. I got to get away from you. Once you say you're a Christian, people don't like it. Okay? So what I'm trying to say here is that you will have enemies. After all, here on earth, this is just temporary. Your real home is when you die and you go to heaven. This is just temporary. God does have a purpose for you. And that purpose is to share your testimony with other people of what he's done in your life so they know the answer. And again, Jesus is the only one that can heal you from anything, folks. He is the one that if you believe in him, he can do anything in your life. But the one thing that he will not be able to do is the one thing that God will not be able to provide to you is people not hating you, people disliking you. That's the one thing that but he will protect you from whatever they're trying to do to you. I mean, that I say it with affirmity. I say it very firm that God does protect you to the fullest, okay, from people that are trying to come up against you. And I am a witness to that. He has protected me from many, many people. So that's one thing that he will guarantee. But the other stuff, when you're walking with God, it's a whole nother level, folks. You got to deal with the haters. You got to deal with people not liking you and so forth and so forth. It's just the way it is. So, in this message, God said, I will, help you with your enemies and so forth and so forth. And David was like, whoa, very grateful, very happy. Everything David did, he would succeed at it. So no matter what, if God gives you a purpose and he tells you to do something, don't be afraid because he already went before you. In other words, he says, Joe, don't worry about it. I got it. You just do what I tell you to do. You stand firm and follow my instructions, and I'm going to take you through this. Um, and he's done that with me so many times, folks. I just, I am so grateful from my life before to the life that I have now. Is just, I have no complaints. And like I said, this month, or the last 3 months, God has been blessing me so much. I did have a hard time before, but you know what? I was like, no, I'm still gonna thank God for the hard times too, not just for for the hard times too, not just for the good. So, believe in Him. If you are walking with God, just stand firm. Don't listen to people around you. Just focus on what God has you doing, and you will be fine. Okay. So, let me see my notes. So, you know, everything was gonna go good except for the enemies. Like I said, they were not gonna do anything to him, but David was always gonna have enemies. So as long as you do whatever God tells you to do, you're gonna have enemies. They're not gonna like you. So that's something you just have to live with. But God will give you peace. Like, I can't explain it. Like, you don't worry about them. You're just so focused on God, like, that you don't care what other people say about you. You're just focused on God because you know you have a mission here. On earth is just to deliver the message so other people know. You know, and if you look around you, folks, the world's not gonna get any better. It's going worse and worse and worse, and um, eventually God is going to return, and it's gonna be when a time that you least expected, but you have to be ready for him. And what do you mean is ready is you have to repent before he comes, because if he comes, it's gonna be too late. Well, actually, no, but I'll talk about that. But you don't want to be when all that destruction is gonna be here. You do not want to be here. It's gonna be really bad. Okay. So better do it now than later, so you avoid all that chaos and stuff. So, anyways, David and Mesobeth. David and Mephibeth. Okay, so Mephibosheth. I can't say it. These names are crazy in the Bible. They're hard. Mephibosheth. There we go. So this Mephibosheth was the son of Jonathan. Jonathan was very good friends with David. I mean, they had a friendship that was so amazing, guys. The way that it's described here, they were like brothers. They loved each other so much with like brotherly love. And Jonathan was a son of Saul. Saul was the one that was jealous of David. He was a king first, and then David came in because God said, Saul, you're not doing what I'm supposed to tell you're doing, so I'm gonna have to bring David. So Saul came upset of that. So Jonathan and David were best friends, and Jonathan had a son. So anyways, Jonathan and the dad ended up as Saul getting murdered, and David was sad. But anyways, when all said and is done, Jonathan died, Saul died. There was one of his sons left, and David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" So what he's saying is there any of the family members left from Saul so I can show pretty much my gratitude for Jonathan's sake? He wanted to honor his friend by, at least doing something for him after his passing, because they were very good friends, or he wanted to take care of whatever, kids he had left. And I want to emphasize something on this. This is very important that God told me. He's like, you need to say this message. So even though, for example, let's say you are walking with God, you have a relationship with him, and you end up dying, whoever is left from your family, if they're walking as well, and or even if they're not, honestly, whoever is left that you have left behind, your offspring, God's going to take care of them. He is going to take care of them to the fullest. Like, they're going to be blessed. Like, even though you pass on, because you're being so obedient to God. So in this case, you know, God will bless your family generations if you're obedient. Jonathan and Saul had already passed away, but God still took care of their family. Now, also, if you curse people and you do not communicate or care to know God, guess what? When you pass away and you have children, and those children have children, they will be cursed, folks. So be very, it does exist. There is generations of curses that are passed down, as we've talked about, not just in witchcraft, but for example, the way you are towards people, the way that, if you're hating people, you want to see them destroyed. You're just pretty much, that anger lives in you. You just like to fight all the time. You like the drama, you know. You are doing bad things, okay? In other words, those children, your children, are going to pay for that. And then their children are going to pay for that. So be very, very careful, okay? God does look at that and he's like, okay, you're being, disobedient. You're doing this to other people. Your children are going to pay for that, okay? So this is what God is saying. So what happened here? Jonathan was very, good to David. He was a man of God. Saul too. And even though they passed away, there was still a son left, and David said, I will take care of him. I will give you whatever you need, and he did. There was he said there's still a son of, Mebo, I can't say the name. I'm just gonna call him Mephi. Mephi, the son of Jonathan. He was crippled, but David's like, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you. So yeah, I mean, it's very important, folks. A lot of people ask me, why do people preach? Why do they talk about Jesus all the time? What's the point? Why can't you just do you and let us think however we want? Well, when we die, God's gonna judge you, okay? Everybody's gonna go through this process. I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're purple. No, I'm just kidding, you're purple. I'm gonna say if you're Muslim, if you're Buddha, doesn't matter. Those gods are all false. You are gonna stand before Jesus Christ. You are going to stand when you pass away, and he's gonna ask you, what did you do? What did you do for me? And you're gonna be there and be like, I didn't do anything. Exactly. Well, I didn't know, that that person was telling me the truth. I didn't know if Denise or Pancho or Edward or Maria or Joseph or Daniel was telling me the truth. I'm doing all the Bible names about you. And he said, well, yeah, they were telling you the truth. So therefore, you didn't want to know me here on earth. So I'm sorry, you cannot enter heaven. In other words, he's going to throw you to the lake of fire, in other words. But that was your choice, folks. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why we have to preach the word, because we are working for God. God is telling us, I want you to tell everybody about me. That way, when they come to me and they're face to face, they have no excuse to say, you know what? You didn't know me. I mean, you don't say you didn't know me, and he's going to play that little clip for you, because he is going to clip your life. He's going to put all your life there since you were born. And he's not even going to waste his time, folks. He's just going to throw you in there. But he's like, you know what? You know you didn't care for me. Adios. Okay? Hasta luego, hasta nunca. So this is your choice. We're not meant to go to hell. We're not meant to go to hell. That's why he's giving, that's why, he has people like me putting videos on Facebook, probably someone at the grocery store told you, or your coworker, saying, do you know about Jesus? And, if you're saying there, nah, I don't care, then you know what? Don't complain when God throws you in the fire, when you're, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are so distracted here by this matrix that you're living in. But once you're woke and you're like, okay, my time is coming. I don't even know if you don't even know if your time is going to be tomorrow. You don't even know if your time is going to be right now. An earthquake is coming. What if, that's it for you? You don't know if you're going to live 60 years, and in those 60 years you're going to be able to repent. So that's why this is, everybody has to preach the word. And not only that, but it kind of makes you feel bad, that people don't know the truth, that they don't know the power, the supernatural power of God. That, when I see an alcoholic, or when I see somebody that's driving fast and so frustrated, it's like, man, if you had Jesus in your life, you wouldn't be in that situation. Everything would be so, so peaceful. I mean, like, literally, that's how you feel. You enjoy your alone time. You enjoy, being with your family. You enjoy your kids. Satan only gives you temporary fixes. Like, for a minute you might be, getting high or getting drunk. And I'm going to tell you something. The only reason why people get drunk so bad, I don't care how you try to deny it to me, because I know I was there in that place. You know, they say that, oh, I do it because I like it. No. You get drunk because you're trying to fill something in your life, and it's a temporary bandage. It's a temporary bandage to your heart. And then that drunkenness is going to go away, and then you're going to go back to square A, where you're miserable and you feel lost. You don't feel satisfied. And, this is a sad thing, folks. Like, a lot of women that I encounter with, it's like they're so envious of me. And it's like, you have the husband, you have the house, you have the money, you have everything, you have the kids, you have the perfect family, but you're still not happy, and you're envying me that I'm single. I have a very nice apartment, but I don't own a home. But that's my goal. I'm working on that, hopefully down in the future. But it's like, you have everything and you're still not happy. You're envying this, person that's, in other words, because that's how they measure it here, depending on how much money you have. If you have a house, that's your success. A lot of people base success on that alone, but that's not God's success, okay? Material things, possessions, that's not God's success. So, but back to my point is, like, you have everything and you're still hating on me. Like, wake up. You have a Porsche, okay? You have a Lamborghini. I drive a Nissan, and you're still hating on me. How is that possible? Well, that's because they don't have Jesus Christ in their life, and they don't see the true blessings. So that's why we try to fulfill whatever that void you have. If you can't be in the car alone quietly and enjoy your quiet time, you always have to be doing something. People are always doing something. Hey, what are we, they're always planning and planning and planning. Like, what are we going to do in the weekend? What are we going to do? That's because they cannot, they need to fill their empty spot that everybody has. I had it, now I don't. I don't care if I'm just home alone by myself. Well, I'm not really by myself, because I have God, but yeah, you're lacking that relationship with God, because once you do get to know God, everything just makes sense. You enjoy everything around you. You're grateful for everything. You're even grateful for the freaking blanket that you throw on your bed. Honestly, like, it's a whole nother level when you're walking with Jesus. Um, and yeah, folks, I don't know what to tell you. That's why we have to preach the word. You know, again, God hates religion. Don't compare religion to God. Okay? Don't do that. Has nothing to do with him. God is a being. He's somebody. You can go to him, talk to him, tell him your problems. Tell, he only wants best for us. You know? So at the end of the day, like I said, um, yeah, that's the only downfall about, if we do a recap, you're always going to have enemies when you have Jesus in your life. But hey, we're only here for a little bit. It's temporary. You might be called home. What I mean home is heaven. Okay. But hopefully this message served you guys. Again, if I add you, this is a little surprise. You might think that I'm going to be posting those naked pictures and you're like hit with the word of God, But honestly, just like I always say, choose Jesus today before your death day. Okay, guys, have a good day. Bye.